Now, if this is only a little bit more professional, I'd have timed that better. It's okay. Hello, everybody. My name is JJ Asgar, and I'm a developer advocate for the IBM Cloud. And today I have a visitor with me. Hello, Dan.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So, Dan, how about you just introduce yourself real quick, and
Sure,
then from there we'll start doing some stuff.
sure. So I'm a longtime developer and currently head of developer relations at a company called Fusionauth. We're an identity provider as a service company, and I've been writing code for a long time and have written and miswritten identity systems myself. And I'm happy to be working for a company that does things right.
Nice, rock on. Oh, so where are you calling in from? Where are you based?
Sure, I'm out of Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, gorgeous place. Very, very gorgeous place.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, well, thank you for joining me on my the IBM developer stream. So as Dan said, he works for Fusionauth, and we're going to be playing with some Fusionauth today, attempting to get an application or two applications to have SSO in front of them on two different clouds. So yes, there's a lot of twos in that one right there. But in essence, we are going to prove to the world in this stream that we can get SSO working across multi-clouds, leveraging the awesomeness that is Fusionauth.
Although now that I think about it, JJ, we should have scheduled this for the 22nd. That would have been the logical thing to do, right?
Oh, that's so clever. God, so clever, so clever. But cool. All right, so we're going to be doing some coding, some playing around quite a bit. And I want to re-say this as many times as I can. If you have any questions or thoughts, don't hesitate to throw them into the chat. I can even bring them up, and as I did just a moment ago, hey, everyone, we're just about to start. I can do that with your question so we can answer it, because this is going to be a learning experience. I have purposely done the minimal amount of work beforehand just so I can ask all the right questions so we can learn around Fusionauth.
And I did want to, sorry, can I just chime in real quick? We're going to be using Fusionauth as the identity provider, but we're going to be talking pretty much plain vanilla OAuth the entire time. So this should be applicable to other identity providers and could be useful information for you, even if you are using some other identity provider. So I just want to chime in about that.
Awesome. Well, as I was about to just flip over to do some stuff, how about we just take a quick beat real quick or a quick second, I guess, and let's talk about what is the awesomeness that is Fusionauth, and give me that elevator pitch.
Sure. So I think Fusionauth is so first of all, I want to acknowledge that there's a ton of great identity providers out there, right? I mean, I know IBM has one. I know there are others that are doing great work. Fusionauth, as all the other ones, has its own special sauce. And so if you made me dive into that in a couple of minutes, I would say, one, we have a community version, which is 100% free as in beer. So if you're running Fusionauth, you download it, run it yourself. You can have unlimited users, unlimited enterprise connections, unlimited tenants. We don't really care. There's no kind of hard limits on the freemium edition. We do have some advanced features that we hold back because, hey, I like to eat as much as the next guy and we need to get paid. But we really think that authentication is something that isn't a differentiator. And so every developer should be using something like Fusionauth to take that off their plate so they can build features. Two other things I would say are kind of unique for Fusionauth are we're developer first. And what that means is everything has an API. I mean, basically our UX is built on top of our API. Our client libraries are thin wrappers around that API, so we don't do a lot of hand-holding. It's really you directly against the API. We have a technology called Kickstart, which lets you configure Fusionauth entities in whatever way you want, right? So it's basically a JSON configuration file, it gets executed runtime, and you can set things up exactly how you want. So great for tests, great for setting up new dev environments. Mm-hmm. And then we're also very Docker friendly. And so all those, I think, basically get together into a great developer experience. And the last thing I would say is that we're pretty unique in this, that you can run Fusionauth as a SaaS offering, so you can pay us to operate it, monitor it, whatnot, or you can run it yourself. And we actually have the ability to migrate between the two scenarios, and we have clients who do that or choose us because they plan to do that. Right? They might start in the cloud because they don't have an operations team, or they just want to take that off their plate. But later they might build an SRE practice and say, okay, we're actually going to bring Fusionauth in because we now have the staffing to handle it, or it happens vice versa too. So in general, Auth should get out of the way. I don't know about you, JJ, but I've never gone to an application and said, "Oh man, that Auth experience was awesome." People only notice it when it sucks, frankly. And so we want to build Fusionauth to like let people get to building features rather than building kind of bog standard Auth.
Awesome. Okay, so there's a couple questions that popped into my head while you were saying this. So hopefully none of this is controversial, but I'm going to ask them anyway.
Sure.
So I'm a developer. I'm not really. I'm more of an operations person. But let's say I'm a developer, and I need to put Auth in front of my application, which we'll be doing today. But I'm a heavy GitHub user, and I want to use the OAuth that is inside of GitHub for my like controlling of my groups and all that stuff, like with projects or whatever. Can Fusionauth help bridge that? So then I like use the OAuth that I do all the management on GitHub side, and then Fusionauth is just like, hey bro, I'm just checking over here to make sure you're okay to get in here. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a very common pattern. We have social providers like GitHub or Google or Facebook. We also have enterprise providers, and you can use Fusionauth as your user data store, or you can say, hey, I just want Fusionauth to be this nice kind of proxy, so I have some local control, and I get things like MFA or other things, or I can say, hey, I want to delegate everything to this other identity provider. And you may want to give different options, and frankly, for different applications, you may want to have different options, right? So some applications that are consumer facing, you might say, okay, Google or GitHub. Others that are internal facing, you might say SAML, or hey, no, actually just end at Fusionauth. So
nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so I think I kind of understand where it fits in my ecosystem, where it's one of those things that everybody needs, and you can lose a lot of time and effort and working around. So you have a great 5-minute demo that just kind of puts everything together so we can walk through it. So let me go ahead and share my screen real fast, and hopefully people can see that. If you haven't seen this yet, it's Fusionauth Io, which I will throw into the chat because I'm helpful like that for friends, and that should go in there. And then let me bring the little banner up so we can have it while we're talking. And I don't actually have that one. That's fine. Let's keep going. So first thing first, as this is the Fusionauth site, there's some great documentation and some great overviews of what not to do. Please take a moment and take a look at it. But we're going to go over to the under the, where'd it go? Resources, under the getting started guide. Am I right on this? There we go. The 5-minute guide right here.
Yep.
All right. So I have 2 machines. One on AWS right here, which will be our Ruby on Rails eventually. Is that big enough? Can everyone see the text? Is that good? Do you make it bigger?
Maybe a little bigger.
A little bit bigger? Okay.
Perfect.
As you can see, I am mining a lot of Bitcoin on this right now. So, don't worry about it. So, all that jazz. But no, in all seriousness, 2 blank machines, all they have are Nginx on it, just because I wanted to make sure that all the things were set up, but that's here nor there. We are going to first start with the machine on IBM Cloud, which is this Auth demo. And as you see here too, it's been running for 6 days and done literally nothing. So what I'll do here first is I'm going to go ahead and do a DNF install node. Is probably the first thing we need to do. And Node.js. There we go. Is doing that for me. So now we have node, which is the first verification here. So if I go back over here and do node -v, we should see 10 for, is 10 that going to be a problem for this demo?
No, it's not. We don't push limits a node in this example, so that should be fine.
That's why I have you here, Dan. Got to ask these questions.
Totally.
Oh, Postgres SQL Server. I can never remember this. There we go. And we got a Postgres database installed. If I remember correctly, what we need to do is the initialization, I believe. So there's a Postgres setup command. That's right. No. Oh, no.
Yeah, don't you need -initdb for that? It looks like.
Is that Postgres? Changed this on me last time I did it, and now I just use containers and I don't think about any of this.
Sure.
Bear with me. Okay, there we go. That looks about right. So if I go to psql-u, or actually psql should just get me in there.
You might need to be the Postgres user, right, to get to.
Let's just start Postgres service.
Oh yeah, that won't hurt.
sudo su Postgres. There we go. psql. There we go. Now we got our database. All right, we got Postgres. So how many engineers does it take to install Postgres?
So we might need to set a password for that Postgres,
okay.
because, or actually, you know what? No, we don't need to. We'll go a different route. So that's great.
All right, perfect. All right, so we've already done the two initial setups, which is Node and psql. Again, nothing up our sleeves. Hell, I think we're both wearing short sleeves if this looks right. So there you go, perfect. So we're doing this completely from the ground. We're going to go ahead and install a curl bash. Really.
Can we actually open up that install? Because I always tell people, like, don't ever just do curl bash. Like, look at the URL first and like scan it to see whether there's anything weird going on. Again, for the Bitcoin mining.
So we'll go ahead and install that .sh right here. Let's just make this big so we can see it. Double checking that we have curl, which seems reasonable. A base URL.
That's HTTPS. That's nice to see.
Always nice to see. It's almost like you do authentication and security for a job. All right, so looks like we do some logic to make sure that we have zip and dpkg RPM. We're on a CentOS box. CentOS box. So we're going to be doing the RPM. Here's the install RPM here. By the way, do you play with Vim a lot? Do you use Vim?
I do use Vim.
Have you seen this before? Have you seen this before?
What is it?
So, we're not going to need this Debian one, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I go ahead and just highlight it all folding. I highlighted it in and then do ZF, and now I've folded it all into here, and I could do ZO to bring it right back open.
And is ZF and ZO, those aren't your own kind of custom things? That's just standard Vim?
Yeah, it's called folding. ZF is to fold, ZO is to open, and then you can do Z capital R to open up all the folds you have. You can even match. So what I really should have done is be even more Vimmy. Highlight the line, search for install RPM, and then do up, and then ZF. ZF.
I don't know whether
ZF. There we go. So now it did it.
Nice.
So the idea is that you can take away portions of the code you see anymore. Makes life a little easier. Anyway, sorry.
That's awesome.
So no HL, take away the highlights. Okay, so here we go. So we are going to curl down something from the base URL, which is reasonable. And then we are going to sudo install something out of our temp directory. And then make sure that everything works correctly with an exit 0. And Wonderful. I like it. I really do feel like some tacos are important.
Always time for tacos.
Cool. Yeah, this does not seem too crazy. And we are pretty much through the whole script. Perfect.
Cool.
So if we come back over here, let's double check here. You gave me 4 different options to install here. We don't need Elasticsearch. We want to install in our current working directory. Now, do we want to install this in our code directory, or is this just getting it installed in general?
So it's going to install, if you do the RPM option down there, which I think is the second or third one or fourth one, that's going to install it in user local Fusionauth.
Okay.
So.
All right, there we go. Okay. We created a symlink. It looks like it started up. No, it didn't start up. We need to start it ourselves.
Yep.
So I am very bad and system CTL status firewall D. I do not have the firewall D running because I hate dealing with firewalls. So I'm going to go ahead and start the service up. Yes.
Yeah, you need to start both of them, but yep.
Okay. And then do we want to immediately go to that port of 9100 or 90?
So we have 2 options here. One is we can continue to follow this tutorial, right? And if that's the case, then we're going to need to have a well, actually, I guess we have 3 options. One is we could create a user and a password a password for the Postgres user, for the super user. That'd be one option. And then we can continue to follow this tutorial, because you can see in like step 3, it'll actually pop up and say, hey, here's the super, we need to get the super user and the super user password. And all that's doing is creating a database and creating a user for the Fusionauth. We could also do those steps manually. So I'll put it in your court. Like, which way do you want to go?
I've completely forgotten how to make a new user. So if we just go ahead and go in as Postgres, and then we go SQL, and then quickly Googleify, create Postgres user. Super user, right? Super user.
We can use the Postgres super user if we give them a password, or you could create a super user if you want. Either one.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just. I thought there was a command for this. Isn't that just like a simple command? No.
We could also just create the Fusionauth user ourselves, and then
do that?
Yeah, that might be simpler.
Okay. What's the best way for you?
So I'm gonna Google too, but I think it's isn't just create user.
Yeah, there was this back here. There was a create user. How to create a user.
Yeah, let's just create a user right there. Create a new user there.
Okay, so
create user, and you could call it Fusionauth. You could call it Donald Duck. Doesn't really matter. Actually, Disney will probably sue you if you call it Donald Duck. So.
We'll call it Fusionauth.
Yep.
And Auth.
And then we need to give it a password too, because that's how Fusionauth is going to connect to the Postgres database.
Yeah. And then there's the password of. Isn't there like a set password?
There's got to be a set password.
It's got to be. Yeah.
Set password.
And I'll go ahead and give it the super user. Creating a new user. Great role. Good. There we go. Alter user fusion auth with super user use.
You actually don't need to make Fusionauth a super user.
Oh, okay.
So you can just do but I did find how to get a password. I think you do alter user Fusionauth with password, and then
helper user Fusionauth with
Password.
password.
Yeah, you spell a password, and then you put single quote and then the password.
I will go ahead and put this over here, just because I've already had someone hack me on this before. Do that, and I will clear it. That should be gone now.
Great.
We should be able to do Control D. There we go. We are now out. All right. So, really? Okay, good. All right. So now that we've started it up.
So we do need to create a database as well.
Oh, okay.
For the Fusionauth user, I think you might still need to be the Postgres user to do that.
All right. Give me a second.
Sure.
SQL. And let's create database of Fusionauth.
Yeah, you can call it Fusionauth. That's fine. And then we also need to grant all permissions on that Fusionauth database to Fusionauth, the Fusionauth user.
Can you send me that quickly?
Sure.
Because I can't ever type anything correctly.
Sure.
It's capital database. If you didn't know.
Sure. Let me see what I can do. On.
This one should be. Copy.
To.
Database of Fusionauth. This will be Fusionauth and password. Oh, really? Really? Passwords in plain text? Come on, man. Come in remotely and it gives me the password. Anyway. Yeah, so did you send me that? Thank you.
I think that's it.
All right, we'll go ahead and paste this in here. Grant all and Fusionauth.
You just created the database, Fusionauth. Maybe Fusionauth.star to Fusionauth. Grant all on.
Where'd my star go? Nope. All right. Privileges on Postgres. There we go. Does it be capitalized? Really? Ugh.
It says grant all privileges on kinds to manual. So, okay. So that's actually, I gave you the wrong. You can blame me.
All good.
Grant all on Fusionauth. No, wait, that should be work. To manual. Oh, I think it's grant all.
That's one Fusion wrong.
Fusion. No, there's no T. Oh, I think you need on Fusionauth, grant all privileges on Fusionauth to Fusionauth.
Got it. Grant all privileges on Fusionauth.
ILEGS, yeah.
Relation does not. Did I spell that wrong
again? We definitely created a user, right?
Yeah. Select, or was it? Is it ST, not D? You. So Fusionauth has
no privileges.
No privileges. Wait a second. All right, you know what? Who cares if I see the password? Oh, it's not there. Create user Fusionauth. Create database Fusionauth. Database. It already exists.
Okay.
Cool. Grant all
User in Postgres.
Create the role. Create the database. Grant on all.
Okay, let's try this. This looks like a different different Google thing. So that'd be grant all.
It's amazing. We haven't even gotten to the actual.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do Fusionauth to Fusionauth. There we go.
All right.
Let's do this again.
But if we should be able to connect to Fusionauth now as the Fusionauth user.
All right.
That would be a good test.
No. All right, let me bring this over here. It is local. Oh, don't we have to enable remote?
Oh, in
plugins?
PostgreSQL, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because it's probably only.
Postgres enable remote access.
This is where you have to go to the hba.conf for PostgreSQL.conf, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Here we go. It's this thing. Yep. So then if I go to Vim, this guy, copy here, and then go to host.
So I can't really see that, but I trust that you can.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Gonna do
You should be able to do localhost because you are
oh, you're
talking
right.
to your
Yeah.
thing. Fusionauth is on this. But
So if I go ahead and do PostSQL, if I do PostSQL use for Fusionauth,
no T.
I keep doing that, don't I? Your authentication.
I think you need capital P, don't you?
Oh, I just took it off just to try to log in as Fusionauth.
Yeah, but you set a password, so I think capital P tells it ask for password. Maybe not.
No. We'll get there. Don't worry. We're almost there. So actually, we need to restart it because I just changed that listen address, though it's not a huge deal.
Sure.
Restart service.
Should happen automatically.
So if I'm sudo su postgres SQL -u of fusion auth, your authentication failed. User. How do I get past this? Never a good sign when I'm going back to 7 years ago.
Can you try the one I pasted?
Oh, yep. Sorry, I was.
No worries.
It should be. Yeah, it's back to this problem again.
Gotcha. So do we need to change the PostgreSQL conf to accept passwords? Is that the issue?
Yeah, I think so.
So you're going to need to be root, right?
Yeah. This one. Local host.
So we don't want peer for local, right?
Yeah.
But does it?
Oh,
Does
no,
the
local right there. That's not helpful. Local all stupid screens. Hang on. There we go. Method is peer already for local.
right? But do we want peer? Or do we want? I mean, it's been a while since I've hacked PostgreSQL config files. It used to be MD5 or something like that. What is this? Does it say peer? Wait. Wait. Can you scroll up a little bit? No, it does say peer.
Yeah.
Peer. Works by taking clients can username in the kernel. You want to do MD5? Try MD5 and see if that works.
CTL restart. Service. To SU Postgres.
You shouldn't need to SU the Postgres either, right?
Oh, because I'm just gonna go in as a user now. That's right.
Yeah.
Dash U Fusion. I keep doing that. Fusion. Is my password all jacked up now?
Maybe.
We're almost there. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can
We're getting
feel
close.
it.
Adventures in database configuration.
All right. Press. That's not right.
Because we changed we changed ident, we changed it back to, so we need to like change the config back to ident for localhost.
Yeah. Or it was peer. Or I.
Oh, it was peer. You're right. It was peer.
Yeah. So restart. To. But hold on. If that's true, what happens if we do this now? We're missing something obvious. This can't be this hard.
Okay. PostgreSQL.
When all else fails, go to a random gist online.
For sure.
Oh, there we go. Why don't we just trust it? And if I go to psql-u fusion, there we go. I'm in its Fusionauth. And
cool.
so, or what is it? Is it connect? What is it?
/r, I think, or /c. No, it's /c, \c. Yep. \c Fusionauth.
There we go.
And we shouldn't see anything here, right? If you do a /dt, it's not going to show any tables because we don't have any tables yet, but we will. Cool. So now if you go here, so we don't need for the super user credentials, actually you can leave them totally blank because we've already created the database.
Oh,
so perfect. The Fusionauth credentials we'll want to put, and this page is actually really designed for developers to be running on their own station, which is why we don't hide the password. So you're going to want the username and password. Actually, I think you should be able to have the password be blank when it says Fusionauth credentials. I haven't tested that, but let's give it a try. See what happens.
It didn't like it.
Didn't like it. Okay. So you could try just putting in anything, because in theory, Postgres will just ignore the password that we provide. I'm not sure about that. And what did it say? So I'm afraid I can't read that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It says fatal init authentication failed for user Fusionauth.
Gotcha. So it's going to try to connect with the password. So I think the trust thing is not going to work for us
Okay.
to do that.
Security.
Yeah, let's try ident. We haven't done that before.
Restart. Nope. So we actually need this to work.
Is there a managed database that IBM provides that we could use?
It'll take like an hour to set up.
Okay, then let's not do that.
What? No.
So that's kind of correct credentials. So this is it's not the PGHBA conf file anymore, is it, or is it still? When is this from? 2020? It looks recent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one we're changing. Gotcha.
Yeah, so we should go back to peer because that's the one that's the default, right?
Yep. So for host, we're gonna actually, I think we're probably trying to connect via, well, actually, if you go back and look at can you look at the Fusionauth config screen real quick?
Yeah.
So we're trying to connect to, say, localhost there under host name.
Yep.
And we don't have a firewall. And we spelled Fusionauth right in the database.
Yep.
Field, just want to check that. Okay.
I think we need to create the user on the operating system for Fusionauth?
I don't think we'll have to. For you mean for Postgres configuration? What's the PGHBA conf entry for host?
Oh, so Tech on Fire just actually said that peer also assumes the user for your shell is the same user you're trying to log in as. Thank you, Tech on File. That's kind of where we are right now. Keep that up for a second. So yeah, we've already gone really way off the rails here.
So I think what we should do is we should check we should log in as the Postgres user, and recheck to make sure that the password for Fusionauth is correct, and then we should set the method to be MD5 for the host as well as localhost, because I think it's connecting over the network. It's not connecting over the Unix socket.
Could we just give the Postgres user a password and call it a day?
Yeah, that's fine too. For this demo, please don't do that in production, but let's do that.
Password Postgres PASWORT. All right, so did that.
So let's actually, can we check on the command line to make sure that we can connect to the post? But you're the Postgres user right there. That's
We call SQL-u Postgres.
And you need -W to prompt for the password, but capital W, sorry.
Saying that. That pure authentication failure again.
We could also install MySQL, but that is kind of a little bit off the rails.
Okay, almost there.
And in this case, you're actually going to want to change the okay. If we just need a way to connect as the Postgres user, And then we can actually run the database schema ourselves rather than going through this helpful screen that isn't proving to be so helpful. As long as we can connect to the PostgreSQL database with
Something, yeah.
password.
According to Tech on Fire, so for that to work, you need to specify the host name of localhost and the second line of the MD5 auth in the PGHD conf. So this needs to be MD5 according to him. Restart. And if we do psql -u postgres -h 7 0.0.1 -w, I got us in.
All right, great. So let's actually use that user. If we're using that user, then go ahead and for the data. Database, we can just choose a different, like Fusionauth 1 or something like that, because we've already created Fusionauth, and then it's going to get confused. So let's do the same thing for that and for the user name. Just give them both ones.
Password authentication failed for Fusionauth.
Yeah, but go ahead and click on when it says the username at the bottom, Fusionauth credentials. Let's just give it a different user name, Fusionauth 1 or something like that, or.
Oh, so this Fusionauth is not going to yours; it's going to the database.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry. So basically, all this is doing is basically configuring a config file. It's writing a config file which has information about connecting the database.
Yeah, when I read that, I thought that was going, like it said Fusionauth all capitalized. I thought it was going out to like Fusionauth, not locally.
Sorry. Yeah, it's totally local. Totally local. All right.
Okay.
And now this is where we just need to we need to create an admin user, and this is not for the database. This is now for the Fusionauth application.
Got it.
So.
JJ, sure, why not? Awesome at IBM. Don't use. I accept that. Sure, why not? You can have my email address, Dan. I like you enough.
All right.
By the way, Tech on Fire, thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah. So save login. Never for this website. Okay.
All right.
Well, that's.
What does it say? Unable to
subscribe your emails for updates.
It probably couldn't reach out over there. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but so this is the Fusionauth dashboard. So this is what you can see when you have a running Fusionauth installation. What we're probably going to want to do first is actually create an app. Well, actually go to tenants real quick.
Tenants.
So Fusionauth can have unlimited tenants. There's a default one. We're just going to do everything in the default one today because that makes it simpler. So we can go to applications now.
Applications.
And applications are anything you can log into. So this is commercial off-the-shelf software, custom applications, APIs, whatever. So you can see Fusionauth itself is an application. Let's go ahead and create a new application that is the Node application.
So Node app.
Yep, that's fine. And then as far as OAuth, if you click, we could create roles there. You don't need to for the demo that we have, but you can create as many roles as you want. If you click OAuth, we just want to make sure that we scroll down and the authorization code grant is enabled. And then the other important thing is we need to create a. I'm going to just paste this in real quick. Okay. We need to add an authorized redirect URL of and that IP needs to be whatever the IP is.
Authorized redirect URL is this one.
Now it's kind of a little bit of a wonky UX, so you actually have to hit backspace real quick. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. And then just put in the IP address.
Hang on. Copy.
And so for anyone watching who's like OAuth newbie, basically what this is saying is we're going to use the authorization code grant, which is kind of the best code grant when you have the best grant when you have a user involved. And what's going to happen is the user is going to try to log in. They're going to be sent to the authorization server, which is Fusionauth in this case. And then Fusionauth is going to authenticate them and then send a code back to this URL. So that's why we need to go
Have
ahead.
2 slashes at the end.
Nope. It shouldn't have 2 slashes at the end.
Okay.
And then this is actually going to be code that we write at this endpoint, which is going to exchange the authorization code for a token, which we can then use for other purposes. So that's kind of the way that OAuth 2, the authorization code grant works. There's one more piece of configuration we want to do, which is, and you had the 3000 there, right? Does it say 3000?
3000.
It doesn't say 3000. We're going to run on port 3000 unless we want to set up Nginx.
No,
So
we're already.
yeah,
We had too much fun with that database there.
I get it. So we want it to be. So sorry, that logout one that I just pasted you, that is actually going to go under in the logout URL.
Really?
What's that?
No, it's just being difficult.
Cool. And then we need to modify that authorized redirect URL to have the 3000, the port 3000 there.
Ah, got it.
And you can't, yeah.
That is interesting UX. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I
might go so far as to say problematic UX, but yeah.
I do like how this one doesn't have that selection or whatever, and this one does. That's also weird.
It's because you can have multiple redirect URLs, and you need to specify each one. Otherwise, if you have parameters or multiple landing points, it's gonna OAuth doesn't like that.
I feel like we're making a lot of concessions to OAuth here. Shouldn't I be demanding the things, not it demanding of me?
If you go through the ITF process for 2 years, then you can go ahead and demand what you want. All right. So now I think we are good for right now. So you can save it.
Okay.
Great. Now the next step is we want to register a user for this application, because we could register the user that we currently have, JJ, or we could register a new user. If you go to users, haha, thanks Technofire. True. So do you want to create a new user, or do you want to use yourself?
Oh, let's use myself. Let's not get too deep here.
So go ahead and go to manage over there and add registration. And again, this can all be driven by the UI. You don't actually need to put in a username if you don't want. Just hit save, because there's only one application we're not registered for, and now we are.
Got it.
Cool. So let's go ahead and clone the Node.js example.
Okay.
Which I'm gonna. So we can run the Node.js on the same server as Fusionauth is running. It's no problem.
Perfect. So we basically ran through all of this just now.
Yep.
So we are right between 5 and 6, right?
Yep.
So
I think the instructions might be a little bit outdated. The example node application, really all we need to do is plug in the client ID and the client secret.
Okay.
Once we've
be nice if we had Git installed.
Git's kind of useful, I hear. The kids are using it these days.
There you go. Here we go. Here's our node app right there.
Great. Okay, so now if we edit the routes.index route.js, route/index.js. Yep. And you can see we have client ID and client secret there. And we just need to replace those with the value from the Fusionauth application configuration that we created.
And that would be.
Yep, under applications.
Applications. Edit this one.
You can edit it or you can view it with a green spyglass, whatever's easier. And you're going to scroll down until you see OAuth configuration information.
Right here?
Yep, and there's your client ID and client secret.
Yeah. Y'all can take a screenshot of this if you so choose. You're not going to get very far, though. And then we go there. Oh, anything else?
That should be it. So then we just need to run npm install. And npm start. I believe Node binds to like all the stuff, but let's check it out. So we should be able to go to port 3000 and CR.
Oops. Really, JJ, come on. One.
All right.
Fusionauth example. Yay!
Okay.
Huzzah!
Woot! So now here's kind of the crazy thing is right now you're logged into Fusionauth, the application as well. And so if you click login, it's going to automatically recognize that you're logged in and not prompt you for a password. So if you want to see like the full capability, yeah, you want to use it like an incognito window.
Don't judge my buttons. Oh no.
All right. Because it went to localhost. Is that what it went to? Localhost?
Yeah, it did. So we missed
we need. Yes. I'm sorry. Because we're using a remote server, we're gonna need to make a few more changes to the yeah, exactly. So basically, we want to look at routes.index.js and also views index.pug. And any place we see localhost 9011, we're going to want to replace localhost with the IP address.
Localhost with.
Well, we don't want to do it for. Oh, actually, no, that should be fine. Yeah, no, that should be fine.
Localhost 219 48 7 2.
And then can you do me a favor and search for 3000?
3000. There's one.
Okay, so that one should be good. Great, that's good. That's fine. And then we want to go to index.pug, and I think we need to tweak that a little bit too.
Sorry, what'd you say it was under?
Views.
Views.
And then index.pug. Yep. And here again, we have localhost right there as part of the redirect URI, and we need to change that to, yep, that looks good. Great. So now we should. Pug is just another templating engine like Handlebars or anything else, just kind of a simple one.
Something new every day.
There's a wide ecosystem of products in JavaScript. If you hadn't picked that up.
I hear this thing that happens every once in a while. All right, so let's go back.
Yep. So you want to reload that page for sure. Okay. Yep, that's good. Let's click login and.
Ooh.
All right. Good. So this is where you authenticate. And by the way, this screen is totally customizable. This is just the default theme.
Okay.
So you're going to want to log in with your Fusionauth user.
Hello, JJ.
Hello, JJ. And there you are. This is a
Nice.
very small thing, but this is basically, at this point, you have access to the user and you can do things like greet them by name. You can look at their roles. You could obviously show or hide different things based on that information. So,
Hey, Simple Old Games. How are you? It has been a long time. Okay. All right. So we now successfully have gotten a Node app to talk to Fusion so we can play with, as you said, the roles and whatnot. And that is dealer's choice from now on. Is that a good way to describe it?
for sure.
Awesome. Okay. So we've successfully done this. Now we need to get our Rails application up and running on AWS. Is that correct?
Yep. The first thing you probably want to do is go ahead and create that configuration for the Rails application in Fusionauth as well.
Okay. So we can go back to our Fusionauth here.
Yep. And I'm going to just paste in a couple of things. So we can create a new application.
Oh, sorry. Give me 2 seconds.
Of course.
Got to take a note real quick. I just
course.
thought of something.
You bet.
It's one of those moments that, I have my daughter gave me all these little Post-it notes, right? And she's like, Daddy, or I guess it's green. Well, anyway, point being, so Daddy, if you remember things, you can write the stuff down and then come back to it later. And I'm like, that's very clever.
You mean I don't have to go down a rabbit hole as soon as I think of something?
Exactly. Now I just, put it away. So there we go. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. So applications.
Yep.
And then we're going to do a new one.
Yep.
I'm going to call this Rails app.
Yep.
Oauth. We can't do any of this because we haven't set it up yet. Is that right?
No. You can set the configuration, which I happen to know, and I pasted for you in the.
Oh.
Yeah. So again, those two pieces: the logout URL and the Oauth callback.
Yes, I'm with you now. I am with you now. Okay, and then this one's password is, or IP is over there, which will just end up breaking my copy and paste. So I'm going to copy it from here and put that right there. That looks better. And then we're going to come back over to end session. Copy.
Yep, that's it.
This is the log URL. Paste that there. And then this is 18. Really? Come on, 221.101.6. Oh, should we start talking about DNS? I'm kidding.
Yeah, I think that why not make this stream go with Rails even more? That'd be great.
There you go. We'll just set up a bind server real quick, and from there, we'll set up some zones, and I think we can pull. We can create our own. Anyway, no, we're not.
We should be done by Thursday, right?
If we're lucky. Awesome.
All right.
So DNF install git. You just told me to go. Anyway. Okay. Yes, I want to install. Really? Git is 45 megs now? Jesus.
For some reason, it's installing the Emacs file system as well. So that's interesting.
Hey, hold on. Perfect timing. Why am I installing Emacs? Oh, yeah. That's good stuff. By the way, if anyone's trying to get a hold of Dan or has any questions, his email address is dan@fusionauth.io.
Love to talk about Oauth or Fusionauth or I mean, I could talk about Emacs. I'm not very experienced with it, so Vim is probably a better, safer bet for me.
All you need is Vim Adventures, man. Everything just works after that. I will say though, I have actually learned a ton so far. This has been fun. I'm really enjoying this. This is good stuff.
Awesome.
So, all right. We are now. We need to get the Rails application, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this over here. And I'm going to do git clone this.
And we'll also need Ruby, probably.
So
I don't know if Ruby's already installed.
Install Ruby. Let's try it. Why not? Could see Ruby's only 14 megs.
Throw in shaded git. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. Ruby-v 2.5, okay?
I think it's test with 2.7, but again, well, I'm not sure what version or what. Let's try it and see what Rails says, because Rails might complain about that version.
All right.
So we're on a relatively modern version of Rails, but if we just go into that, we should be able to run.
Bundle?
Yep, bundle install.
Oh, jeez. Gem install bundler. Well, Tech on Fire, you could have one right now. You can have Fusionauth right now if you wanted to. Just saying. Oh, boo. Okay. So, oh, looks like we're just playing with RVM now. RVM, IO. Let's go on another curl bash adventure.
All right.
Oh, come on, really? I was a Rubyist for 6, 7 years. What? Key server received failed. No name. What does that mean?
You copied that whole thing, didn't you?
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah. Let's curl GPG some stuff, shall we?
Sure. From 2017.
Yeah. Nope. That's a tweet waiting to happen. What did I learn from the Fusionauth stream? Curl bash is so tired. Wired. Curl GPG.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let's see here.
So, why did you type in GPG2 out of curiosity?
I copy pasted it. I didn't.
Okay, gotcha.
Wasn't paying attention. I copy and paste stuff from the internet all the time. Nope. Didn't like that again. Let's try this alternate one. Okay. The same thing. I think it's the same thing. Fetch the public key here. No. If that fails, do this, which we already tried. Or if that failed, what is going? Dan, we are just hitting roadblocks left and right.
I know. It's interesting to me that.
There we go.
What'd you do?
I don't know, but it fixed it. So
okay, well then,
enough for me.
Moving on.
Yeah.
To what we actually want to do, which is install our VM so we can install Ruby, so we can install Rails. The turtles, they're all the way down.
All right, here we go. Now we're getting our Rails.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. Got to bring down the world now.
But as you said, nothing up our sleeves. This is
Yep.
what you would do if you booted up a VM.
All right. Twitter.
On the flip side, it took us 40 minutes to solve the database one. I think it took you 5 minutes to solve the RVM problem. So that's decreasing quite a bit.
There we go. Nice little tweet just gone out for us.
Dare I look at it?
It's straightforward. It's straightforward. All right. Oh, jeez. Still building the world. So, by the way, if anyone has any questions or thoughts, this would be a great opportunity to pop them in the chat, and Dan and I can meander around that conversation a little bit.
Absolutely.
Again, they gotta love that 10 to 15-second delay. Nope. Still compiling.
So what do you said you used to write Ruby. What are you mostly slinging nowadays, JJ?
I spend a lot of time in Go and Python. It just kind of fell out that way. With the Kubernetes stuff and OpenShift stuff, I get exposed to a lot of Go. But when I'm still a sysadmin at heart, so give me Bash and give me Python, and I can rule the world kind of thing.
Sure.
I keep wanting to do more and more Go, just because I really do see the advantage of it, and I work with some really, really, really smart Go developers, but I just don't think functionally, right? I spent so many years learning object-oriented programming that I don't think that way. The irony is that I still do Bash with everything, which is a functional language, but Bash to me is talking to a computer and telling it to do stuff instead of like writing a program. Does that make sense? I know it's a little weird,
sure,
but yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
how about you?
Some Java, some Ruby is probably what I'd reach for first if I had to do something. Bash is really great for kind of those one-offs, but yeah.
I've recently fallen in love with the Flask framework from Python. I played with Sinatra here and there with Ruby, and it didn't really ever just kind of land. But now that I've actually spent the time and really started studying Flash and gone through some really, really in-depth tutorials, those single page like little like enter some information on a very basic view and it puts it in a database, and then have something that looks at that database and pulls information out of that database. That whole workflow is so consistently needed in so many different places.
Sure.
And Flask makes it so easy that I still haven't made my like template one yet. My ultimate goal is to create a Flask application on my GitHub that is like a template of like username or not username, but I guess like name, street, or city or whatever that puts it into a database. So whenever I need to do this, I can just be like, here's all the information. Just change these things around. Congratulations. Now you're dumping a bunch of information into a database. Anyway, you get what I'm trying to say.
It is amazing to me how many applications are just CRUD apps, right? I mean, I think that's part of the whole no-code movement, is realizing that like really you're just kind of taking something, putting it into a database, and then later getting it out in some way. So, all right. Do you need to add something? You might need to add something to your
the path.
Yeah,
the path. I completely like blanked. I was like, I know there's something I need to do. What am I forgetting? Here we go. RVM. It's not actually in there.
Could you locate RVM or something like that? Because it's in somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's where is it? Where is it? It's like a copy. It's literally just like an export for the path. Where the hell did it go? Here we go. Source. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. Copy.
Nice.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's a step in the right direction.
That is perfect.
Gotta rebuild everything again.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
you're
when you
right. Tech on fire. I should have done that. I should have just scrolled back on the screen, but oh well.
All right, so there we are. So now I think if we go now, now if we do, I think you're going to need to install gem install bundler again for this Ruby.
Ruby -v. There we go. Gem install bundler. We'll get there. We'll get there, Dan. Bundle. Yoko Giri. Oh, not even there yet.
Oh man.
Really?
Let's hear. There was that My Magic what do you call it? Issue vi bundle.
Do we dare delete the gem.file.lock and just run it all?
Yeah, that's fine. You should be able to do that. Let's do that.
I mean, I know my Rubyist friends like Tech on Fire are probably like freaking out right now that I did that.
Well, that's what Git's for, right? Like, so if we
exactly.
there's
Ruby 7. What? No.
holy moly. The other thing we can do right now is we need to grab. So this particular application verifies the JSON Web Token that's signed, and so to do that, we need to go back to Fusionauth and look up the HMAC secret. There are two ways to signing JSON Web Tokens. You can do it symmetrically, which is a little bit simpler conceptually to understand, but requires a shared secret, or you can do it with public-private key cryptography. We're going to do the shared secret right now. So if you go to settings over on there on the menu, and then scroll down to key master and click on the default signing key. That's the one. And click on the preview. Sorry, the little green.
Oh, the preview. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
View?
Yep, view. That's what I meant to say. And then there should be a little click there to reveal. I cut and paste that. And then we want to, in your terminal, we just want to run that export command whenever the installation is done.
Okay.
With that value.
And Tech on Fire just caught up to us destroying the gem.lock file. He actually had a much better suggestion, which is bundle update, conservative, My Magic. But instead, we just remove the lock file and, YOLO it.
Do you want to open up a separate terminal? Because we can edit the config file with the client secret while we're waiting for Ruby to install.
So I need to do the export first here. Export.
Yeah, you're actually going to want to do that wherever we're running the Rails server. So whatever shell we're doing that.
Oh, that's one up above. Okay, so what do you want me to edit in here? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so if you want to edit the config/developments, config/environment/development.rb.
Development.rb.
Yep.
Him not found.
Sacrilege.
All right.
All right, and we go all the way to the bottom.
Yep.
And you can
localhost?
see, yeah, we're definitely want to change localhost to be the IBM Cloud IP.
I know this is AWS.
Don't forget, we're talking about we're just going to authenticate against Fusionauth running on the IBM
Oh,
Cloud. So that's what
good point. Good point. It's like you've done this before, but you don't want to go in a rabbit hole understanding the differences between clouds.
Hey, that'd be like rabbit hole number 4.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to streaming, Dan. And the same redirect here also?
The redirect URL is going to be to the AWS thing, but yeah, that's the same redirect URL that we put in the application config. So it'll be the AWS IP / OAuth2 - callback.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds.
No
Overwhelmed.
worries.
So the redirect URL should be the 18.1.1. Okay. So then our IDP URL is IBM Cloud.
Yep.
Our OAuth redirect URL is AWS 3000
Yep.
callback.
Yep. That's it. And then we also need to change those client ID and client secrets to be the Rails application client ID and client secret from Fusionauth.
Okay. Need to wait till that. And then that client ID of. Oh, did I already lose that? I think I did. Okay.
We just have to go to applications.
Applications. View. Client ID is down here. So if you have, just out of pure note of curiosity,
Yeah.
while I'm doing this, so you see most of the usage with OAuth, right? Like OAuth just kinds to be the way that people are using Fusionauth. Why is it so far buried down in here?
I don't know. It could be because there are other ways of getting it, right? If you edit it, you can see it kind of right on the first tab. Okay. It could be just we started out and did OAuth first, and we just kind of added new features on top of it because there just are a lot of things. But it's a great question.
I mean, again, one of the great things about this is that we have an opportunity to like do user testing, right?
Totally.
So it's just I really do enjoy what's going on here, and genuinely speaking, I am learning a lot and I'm understanding, and the workflow is actually really making a lot of sense now. And I've even thought of a little PR to put in for your demo apps, by the way.
Awesome. Wow.
Totally get to do that. But it's interesting. There's little things here and there that I'm just like, oh, that's interesting that it could be it's here, not over there. Like the edit and the view button, for instance, is a little bit like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it feels a little weird, just a little weird. But anyway, I'm babbling.
Oh, no. I want to say, like, so is it weird because it's like not intuitive what is edit versus view, or they're very small and close together, or what makes it not intuitive?
For me, there's times that I went to edit thinking that stuff was in edit, where you said, "Oh no, it's in the view." Like if you watch this video, you'll see me naturally think that this thing that we were looking for would be in edit, not in view.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Or it's just because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just clicking around randomly. Curl GPG, call it a day. All right, where were we? We needed to do this guy, which is export. If I can type correctly, export. Is that right? I did. HMAC secret. That's not actual secret. SECRET equals that, and then put that nice long thing in there. Okay. So we do bundle.
I still think we need to do. Did we add in the client config? Because I know we were in the middle of doing that. Okay, we did. You added in the client. Okay, great.
Secret.
Cool. Yep.
The password and secret. Yep.
Awesome. Great. So yeah. So then it's just Bundle Rails S, right?
What's the yeah, that's right.
Or bundle E Rails S, and I think you have to do
Yeah, that's right. Bundle exact. That's thank you. Rails.
bundle E Rails. I
There
don't
we go.
know if Rails by
Puma. Oh,
what just happened?
your
We
yarn files are out of date.
we need to install Yarn.
Bundle exact. Let's bring back memory. Yarn
I don't know if you.
install.
I think we need to actually we need to actually like install Yarn. The like Yarn's like npm.
I did not realize that. I thought it was another gem.
Yeah.
Okay. CentOS yarn install. Okay. Wait, I haven't installed npm here. Oh,
You did
jeez.
when you installed. Oh, we have to install Node.
Yeah, we have to do all that because this is a different box.
Right. Right.
Hey, I'm starting to think we should write some Ansible playbooks to just do all this for us.
There's the sysadmin in you.
Yep. I'm just like, why have I already done that? I mean, this should be oh, come on. Just run the Ansible playbook, set everything up, and then you can just do it. Then we turn it into an instead of a 5-minute demo, a 2-minute demo. Minus the 45 minutes of messing with the database.
Right. I was gonna say like you got to conclude that for sure.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right, let's try this again. Oh, jeez. To-do.
There we are.
Oh,
Great.
no.
Now you should be. No, it worked, didn't it?
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. No, because that's before. That's before your stuff. All that error stuff. Because you did it right there.
Yeah.
Sudo. So now we get to run install. Yep. Now we gotta, and you don't want to do. Oh no, you're gonna need to do the yarn. Just do yarn install check files to update.
Oh, okay. You need to sudo that too.
I don't know.
I'm gonna download 1,013 packages just because
Why not?
This demo's pretty big, man.
Man, now it's 18,000 something else.
Jesus. We're getting there though.
All right, done. All right. So my only concern here is that it might not have bound to.
Yep.
But let's see.
It's on localhost. You're right. We need to turn that to 000.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think you do Rails S dash B, B 0.0.0.0. Yep. Okay. Now we should be able to visit that page in a browser.
All right, so that's 18,000.
That's thinking. Now, I guess one question is, did you set the security groups to allow any ports in, or do we need to do that for AWS?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay, great.
Because if you go to this Engine X.
Okay.
But knowing my luck, I haven't done something right. All right. So let's bring this up over here while this is going. And go. Yeah, that's going to time. I must have messed with the security groups. Okay, so go back to AWS. EC2. Instances, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that should work.
This guy. Networking.
Security maybe. And then port. Yeah, we just need to punch a hole for inbound for port 3000.
How do I edit that?
I think you go to the security group itself, which is kind of linked above in blue.
Got it. You know, I've actually, this is one of the few times I've ever actually used AWS. No joke. I'm one of the few people on the planet who just knows nothing about AWS.
Awesome.
3,000.
Everybody.
Like that.
Yep.
Save rules.
All right. So now I should be able to go back to there and
Hey, that looks good.
hey.
That's good.
All right. Oh, we forgot to register ourselves for the Rails app. So we should go back to Fusionauth and register that user for the. So if you go to, you actually have to go to users and go to the admin user and add that registration.
Add registration.
Again, it's just gonna. Yep. Cool.
So now that we've told, okay, so let me make sure I get this correctly in my head. We've done everything on the node side, and by adding the registration of the Rails app from the node box, now it knows that when we do the callback through OAuth to authenticate, it's like, yeah, that Rails app, go for it, buddy. You're allowed in that door, right?
No, because they're totally separate, right? Like, so the Rails app, we just said the Rails app can go to Fusionauth and authenticate, right? So you could have user one who's totally technified. User one who's registered for the Rails app and user two who's registered for the Node app, or you can have someone registered for both. They're kind of two separate things. So we will show single sign-on if we have time, but for right now, you can actually log in to the Rails app and you should end up at a hello JJ.
Huzzah!
All right. So now the only thing to do is we can actually put links between the two, right? So the idea is that we would have you should be able to log. Oh wait, no, it says sign in.
Oh.
Huh. Please sign in. Okay, so
cannot render console from, no, that's not it.
Shouldn't be
invalid issuer error.
Okay. Oh yeah, great, cool. So this actually, can we stop the Rails and I want to show a couple of things. So if we go to Fusionauth,
all right, Fusionauth,
and you go to tenants, and edit the tenant. So that's the blue. And you can see the issuer right there is acme.com. So this is basically a part of the JSON Web Token that's created, and it just says this is the thing that created the JSON Web Token. So in Rails, we're actually doing, I mentioned that we're doing a little more sophisticated checking of the token than we are in the Node app. And so in Rails, we're saying, hey, we actually expect the issuer to be Fusionauth.io, not acme.com. And so it's saying, hey, you actually don't get to go in because someone did something fishy with the JSON Web Token. It's not who I expected it to be issued by. So if we change that to Fusionauth.io and save it.
There's a T in Fusion, right? Save it. All right. And then start it back up.
Yeah. Yep. Start up the.
Let it do its thing. There we go. Sign in. Huzzah!
There we are. All right. So now you can log out of either one. I will say that we actually have implemented a logout from both, but because of some changes in the browser, it won't actually work with these two example apps because we're not on SSL. So if we had SSL set up, basically what we end up doing is we, you saw when you click that logout button, it sent you to Fusionauth and then sent you back to Rails. We'll actually create a couple iframes for every application that you tell us to, and we'll call the logout URL, which will basically kill the session in all those other applications. But because of browser rules, the iframe doesn't get rendered if you're all over HTTP, not HTTPS.
Got it.
So,
Data cleanup.
but yeah, so we can definitely edit the edit each of these applications to put in links to the other one, and then we can see that if I log into the Rails app, then I click on the link to log into the Node app, I'm going to be logged into the Node app. You want to do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Great. So here,
So we'll do it on the node side.
sure, let's do it on the Node side. So if we go to views and it's layout.pug. So right above the body, we can just put in, actually, sorry, right below the body. And we just, yeah, I think it's yeah.
How about this? Cat index. Grab
Smart.
that.
So we actually don't want to do that one. Don't do that. Do just the link to port 3000, right? Because we're actually not linking to Fusionauth. We're linking to the Rails app.
I was just going to
or the
grab
Node
the.
app. Oh,
yeah,
gosh, you were just grabbing the syntax?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because, I'm not smart.
Hey, why think when you can copy paste? That's what I say.
Exactly. So this would be port 3000. And this is actually not that. It is this one. Copy. What the? What? Mac, stop being more smart than me.
Right. And then we want to, get rid of that, all that stuff. Yeah.
Can we just put like a click?
I think you need a closing paren, and then you could put Rails app, right?
Rails app like that.
You might need a space between the paren and the R. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, cool. And we could put, if we want to get really snazzy, you could put a pipe after that, and then put Node app and have the Node app be not a link because we're on the Node app here. So that just gives the user a visual cue where they are.
Copy. That good?
Yep, that looks good.
We should be able to do start.
Yep.
And back over here, we start up our Rails again, right?
We need to. Do you want to add the same thing to the a link to the Node app on the Rails side too?
Oh, okay, sure, why not? That's under
It's gonna be under app
views,
and then layouts, and then it's the application one.
Application. Body. Oh no.
You can just do normal HTML, right?
Yeah. Href, and then it should be 169.48.72.123. This is Node app, which should be that. Okay. Oh, great, right?
Yep, that looks good.
Oh, nope, not quite. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Back. And then, so this now, Rails, Rails, put that up.
Great. And then did we restart the Node app? I don't remember.
Looks like we did.
Great. All right.
So Dan, this is your moment to back out and tell me you've just been lying to me this whole time and this will not work. just giving you the opportunity.
All right. Thanks for the easy out. I appreciate that.
All right, here we go. We're going to log in here. What? Why is it going back to localhost? Refresh. Oh, okay. I broke something with the view.
Okay.
End of the string with no closing bracket. Oh, I'm missing it.
That single quote up there. Yep.
I already hate Pug. Tries again.
All right.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna log in here.
Why is Rails? Can you go back real quick? Sorry. Why are they both highlighted? They shouldn't both be highlighted. I think we might need to put them on separate lines. Because I think that A takes everything.
Okay.
And I would actually get rid of the pipe because pipe means something special for Pug. We'll just ignore that.
All right.
There we are.
Okay. Are we cloud native because we're just pushing shit to production and not checking anything?
Love it. Love it. All right.
App.
That's weird. All right. Well, that's not super. So
I like app. App is fun.
For sure.
All right, there we go. And now if I click on our Rails app.
So it's going to bounce you to Fusionauth, and then it's going to send you what? Oh yeah, sorry. Now if you click sign in, it's going to bounce you to Fusionauth. Fusionauth will recognize you're there already and not require you to log in.
Huzzah!
So, huzzah! And you can in your Rails app or in your Node app say, actually, if I don't see anybody valid there, then I'm going to just send you to Fusionauth anyway. And that takes care of the case that more people will expect. But so there is single sign-on between two different apps and two different clouds.
Yep. And then we just kick back and forth with no problem. Check that out. That is pretty slick, man. That is pretty slick. Rock on. And we're coming in right around where we wanted to end too. That was completely unintentional, by the way. To when people watching, like we really did do this live. Awesome. Well, I mean, I like the idea of ending on a high note, because high notes are always better than low notes. Apart from those, my ears.
Definitely.
No? Okay. So, Dan, how do you want to wrap this up? Do you want to just give us a nice little pitch again to our video people, or do you want to just say goodbye? What do you want to do?
The only pitch I will say, because if you want to know more about Fusionauth, obviously we can send you to Fusionauth.io, but I would just say, and this is more just a plea to all the developers listening, like if you're building an application, don't build Auth, right? Use Fusionauth, use one of our competitors. There's plenty of things out there. I think Fusionauth is great, but there are other ones that are great too. But writing your own password hasher, writing your own login, forgot password, all that stuff out there, it's just what it's I wouldn't go so far as to say a waste of your time, but there's just better ways to use your time. So please look at Auth systems, evaluate the ones that work best for you, and get back to building features. So, and thank you, JJ, very much for having me. I really appreciate it. That was a fun, apart from kind of the Postgres shenanigans, that was a really fun exploration of how to start from ground zero and build something. Those were toy apps, but you could see very easily how they could be extended to be much more robust custom applications.
Absolutely. And Dan, we will always have Postgres together. We will always have those moments, right?
Awesome.
Well, thanks everybody for sticking around. And as I showed earlier a moment ago, just one more time. Not that one. I'm sorry. Dan's email address of dan@fusionauth.io. If you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and pimp him and say you can reach out.
Please do.
But cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast now. And then thanks everybody for checking out. Say bye, Dan.
Thank you. Bye.